Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. So today is an update on the jacket and I'm planning to start a new project under the prompt of wearables. So before we get started, let's show you the finished jacket. I'm so pleased with it, and yes, I would wear it, which was the whole goal. And I think it's because I stopped embellishing and just did a little bit around the back. So let's start there. So there's the flowers, and I've overstitched them and I've embroidered the outline of them and put some little stitches through there. What else did I do? I think you've seen all that lace work, the borrow stitch. Come around here. The flower, I think you saw in the last video, and I've finished the little bird off. I put some bullion stitches here on his little wing and just outlined him. Kept it simple. I just didn't want to, I guess, cover up the artist on the fabric by stitching too heavily. Having said that, you know, who knows, I might just pick it up and start stitching into him again. That's the beauty of these types of pieces, that if I'm away on a holiday and I've got nothing to stitch, hello, look out jacket. So yeah, really happy with it. I love my lace coming through here. I've admired jackets that have had all this plumage coming out of them on Instagram for ages, years. I've always wanted to do that, and I'm really loving this little lace here. It's so pretty. Just love it. And I love how it's different. It's worked out really well. So there you go. I'm going to call the jacket finished. So yeah, love it. All right, I might sit back down. I'll take a few photos and pop them at the end of the video. But let's get cracking on the next one. Hello everyone, welcome back. Okay, next project. So if you've watched my videos on the jacket, you would have heard me sort of throwing the idea around of a scarf, and I had this piece of fabric that I've been percolating on. I've sort of come to the conclusion that it's definitely the piece. My biggest decision is, do I fussy cut out this and then place it on, you know, a base fabric, or do I use this as the base fabric and add to it and embellish here and there and bring in pieces? And yeah, so that's where I'm at. Now the base fabric, I've got a couple ideas, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So I've got myself a couple tablecloths. I picked them up on Marketplace. They're quite inexpensive. They're machine done, fairly modern. The only thing that I believe is current is someone has crocheted this edge, which is just stunning. Will not go to waste. This is painted and then a sewing machine has come over the top of it. So it's a little square one. Then I've got this one, which I do rather like the embroidery on it. And I sort of like how it could work in with the piece that I'm doing, but I'm not sure. My next thing that I'm thinking about is using, see, the whole thing is it has to be lightweight, it has to be soft. I've been throwing different laces and things at a pile all week, and it's a bit of a mix of curtain fabric, soft, but I think would be painful to stitch if I'm going to use that as a backing. Might be good as morsels on it. I've got some of the wedding laces would be beautiful intertwined throughout it. So embellishing sort of category. This piece here, oh my goodness, no, where is it? This one here, it's quite long. Let me zoom up a little bit. It's quite long, and it has this real intense embroidery here. I'll turn it over the right way. Real intense embroidery here. Then it softens out to very little detail. And then it gets real soft, as in lack of design. And then there's a little edge. And I've been swanning around with it around my neck thinking, well, there's a scarf. It's done. No need to do anything else. It's just so beautiful. It's about how wide? Oh, easy. 30 centimetres. 12 inches, 13 inches. So I can't possibly cut that up. It just got caught up in the table in the pile, so I can eliminate that because it's a scarf by itself. I think these smaller bits where there's things like that, potentially could be cut up. So that's got, you know, a maybe. Then I thought, well, maybe I could look at more heavier laces, corded lace. But that's, yeah, I don't think that's it either. See, that's nearly a scarf by itself. Doesn't need anything. Bob's your uncle, done. If only it was that easy, but no, we've got to slow stitch these things that we do these days, don't we? So we've got to pull things apart just to put them back together. It's really quite amusing, isn't it? What I've got here is another piece of lace that has potential because there's motifs in amongst it that could be removed. But I'm not sure if I want to go blingy or not yet. So I'm sort of tossing around that piece as a maybe something. I guess the thing I'm struggling with is if it gets too thick, you know, heavy, due to everything being embellished on it, it's going to be awkward to wear. So I'm just sort of percolating here a little bit. There's some, see, this type of thing would be good over it, like, but then it knocks the flowers back too much for me. Yeah, no. Well, then I started thinking about the edge. Every scarf has an edge, doesn't it? There's always something, well, not every scarf, but you know what I mean. Then I found that, which must have come off of a skirt or something. It's a little bit stained, so I need to do a little bit of work on it. So whether these stains will come out when someone's tried, or I don't know. So there might need to be some consideration taken into that. Having said that, I don't think my scarf's going to be very wide. That'll help with bulk. So there probably would be enough to get something dangly out the bottom. So we got that in the dangly category. Then I found this piece, this snippet from a pack. So there's a potential dangle at the end of the piece. It's really going to come down to what the scarf looks like when it's completed, I think. I don't know if I'm ready to make a decision on the dangly bit at the end. It's going to depend on colours. I've got heaps of edging, crochet edge stuff, like that one I've nibbled into, but I've got a bit of this everywhere, and it's always on the end of tablecloths and things. So if I find that this needs to be cream, I'd probably be able to hunt something down somewhere. Okay, so we've got the edges, that's one category. We've also got these pieces. Now I got these at op shops. This is a commercial scarf. I've actually seen a few since I picked this up. They come in different colours. There must have been a couple shops in Brisbane selling them because they're popping up everywhere now. This has a really pretty lace on the end of it, on the edge of it. And I've nibbled a few little bits out of it to there and there, and a little bit here. So there's a potential of looking also for a lace or laces that become a little fringing on the end, which is another thing to think about. Gosh, I tell you, I don't like this cream, but I really like the colour of the lace. See that? So there's opportunities to dainty it up a little by putting a little soft lace along the sides of it in places. I don't think I've got enough to go around the whole thing, but you know, maybe I do. I don't think I would, but that's okay. So that's a definite possibility, to trim the edge of the scarf with a soft lace. So we've got two tasks here. We've got something that'll hang at the end and potentially something soft to go along the edge. Now this is another interesting thing I found at the op shop. This here, to me, looks like a rectangle that has been twisted and stitched in the center. What have they done? Oh, they've twisted it as they've made it. So it's not actually stitched, it's just intertwined. Oh, okay. So they've like knotted it on itself and then carried on, which has given this curled look. So if I started getting bold, something like that could go down one side. But it just depends, doesn't it? It really, really depends on what finish you want. See, even if I don't want to be bold, little piece of this, oh, goodness me, it catches on my fingers. I've been gardening and my fingers feel a little bit rough. So you could have a little bit of that coming along the side too. So there's plenty of ideas for the side. Now, what else have I got here? These are embellishing. See, that's another. No, I don't think I need that. Put that away. I always pull out so much and then I get to the end of every project and I haven't used half of it. I think as for lace to put over the top and embellish it with, I've got plenty of suggestions and ideas there, but I'll keep that one out. Now this piece, this is like a very fine, I don't know, cheesecloth, see-through fabric. Oh, I don't know. Gosh, this scarf, I tell you, I've been churning on it for ages. I love that. It's soft. It's all still lightweight. It'll move on my body. So I think this is going to be broken down. It's got a lot of stains through the center of it. There. Now, it might wash out, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to give that a bit of a wash again. I'm just not sure if it was done prior to me. And I don't think I've run it through. I've had this pile of bits and pieces sitting to one side that I definitely haven't laundered yet. And this was in there. So I need to just maybe give that a bit of a nappy sand as well. So put that over near the door so I catch it as I leave the room. Now this is another piece. The thing I like about this is it's soft. And I love how there's like little holes all through it. She's an old girl. Look. She's just beautiful. And then there's all this white work in there. Is there enough fabric here? Not really. Portions of it could be used and drifted in to the piece. So I could take all that out. Could even take that out, like break it down. And then I don't even mind this crocheted edge could be applied, but I don't know. Okay, so that's where I'm at. I do have soaking in the laundry at the moment a piece of cotton, but it's actually an old pillow slip. And it's the softest cotton I've been able to find. I've looked at calico, looked at linens. I've really ratted around to see what I could find that could be my underneath. And then it's a question of, let's pretend I've got a piece of calico here. Let's pretend this is the cotton that is in the wash. Gosh, it's not even going to open up for me. If only this was lightweight, I could just use a piece of this, but it's not. It's just a little bit too heavy. And it's tricky because it's got to be lightweight enough to be comfortable to wear, but also have a little bit of structure about it so that I can hold it in my hand and stitch it and it's not this flippy floppy piece. So there you go. So let's assume that's cut into, say, 4 pieces, the pink, which would bring them back to probably only about that width, which I'm okay with. Lay it on a base and get it all invisible stitch so it's one piece, and then start working back through the whole scarf with embellishments and, you know, bits and pieces. And or I fussy cut these out to get a lineal length of pink roses, and then in amongst it I lay things like this, sort of all mushing in together. And then I could even come back into this and pull out some of these little guys. That's where I'm thinking of going. So, oh gosh, it's so hard to make a decision, guys. I wish you lot were sitting at the end of my table and I could do a vote. Who wants this to stay in 4 pieces, long and straight? Connect them together, sit them on a base fabric, which is the pillow slip that's in the wash at the moment. Who wants me to fussy cut these out and build it into something? What's our length? Have I even got enough to even consider the length? 19 plus 42. And then, yes, I can also break it here, stretch it out. So 42, well, 42 just goes around my neck. You wouldn't be able to tie it, but you could stuff it down on the inside of a jacket. You know, you wouldn't have a knot, but you could certainly do a windbreak over your chest, which is sort of about all we need in Queensland. It might be just a cool, brisk breeze, and you don't want to get too clustered around your neck. You just stuff it down a jacket just to cover your throat, your neck. And I guess with elements like that, which is sitting out by itself, and then you break it and add something else, I think it'll work. All right, guys, look, I'm going to make a decision. The easy way would be just to divide it into 4, lay it all out, and then come along and embellish this as the base. But I think I want this to be more predominant. I want it to be like a vine. So we're going to fussy cut it out. That's it. We've made a decision. It's going to be a challenge because the fabric is so lightweight. And it could fray and disappear on me. See what I mean? What's it like to stitch as an edge? Hang on. Let's do a bit of trial and error here, guys. I'm just not 100% committed to, what am I going to edge it in? Do I use crochet cotton and make it a feature? That would be pretty. I'm just going to do a little test stitch. You know, if I had meters and meters of this fabric, I could chop away and I would not be as fearful of end results. Gosh, I cannot believe how much thinking has gone into it when it's a piece of clothing. When it's just a piece on the wall, well, you know, you just go for it. When I'm looking for a little piece of calico that I can pinch to do a little test stitch on. When it's, you know, when it's something on the wall, I don't even think twice. I chop, cut, relocate. But when it's something like a piece of clothing, oh my goodness, have you guys found that too? I think it's, you know, we see these beautiful embellished pieces of clothing and then we sit on it for like 3 years. Oh, one day I'm going to do that, one day I'm going to do that. But we just never get around to it because we talk ourselves out of, oh, what am I trying to do here? I want to lift that up. We talk ourselves out of it. I want to see how this sits. Oops. This side, like let's assume that that's fussy cut. I just want to see how it behaves. I could do them fairly close together. Gosh, that'll take me 1 trillion years. Oh, seriously. Oh, I tell you, these projects that are wearable, I could just make my life simple and make something small. Oh dear. I've been tossing around the cuff, the bracelet, the bangle, the strappy thing around your wrist, but I'm pretty confident I'll be too chicken to wear it. It's just not me. I just am not that type of clothing. Oh, goodness me. I've had a few days without stitching. I've been doing my orders for my business. All of the Australian wholesalers now are presenting their Christmas catalogues to me of all the stock that they plan to have on their range. So I'm working on orders, oh my goodness, and I'm trying to push them through as fast as I can. It'll be record time for a couple reasons: to get back into my craft room and to also get it all in to their different, you know, head offices before I have to go away in March for 10 days, which is completely doable, but oh my gosh, got a little bit of anxiousness happening. And I did a day yesterday. I think I started at 6 in the morning and I finished at 11:30 at night. I was just so determined to go hard all day. And it's not as easy as just pick the item that I see in the catalogue and go, oh yeah, I like that. It's probably something we've had before. So let's say it's some tea towels, Christmas printed tea towels. Well, I've then got to find the tea towel range that I had last year and work out how many are left, how many sold. Is it just a repeat item or is it something new? Maybe it's the same item and the wholesaler's bringing them in again, but then there might be a couple other tea towels there that I like as well. So which do I do? Do I do a little bit of all of them or just stick with the one? It's like a combination of 12 prints and just fill us up again. And I've got to do that by location. So I've got to have a look at both stores and go, well, you know, they sold this and they've only got this left, so they really need this. And then I've got to think about, well, what's going to be happening in retail for the year? Do I think that society is going to bounce back? Because it's a bit doom and gloom in Australia at the moment with spending. Has been for a couple of years now. But interest rates are on hold and there's confidence showing. Well, what's going to be happening in December? So I've got to think about that. I try not to think too much about that. We sort of try and just chart our own course. But, yeah, I think a lot. So every item, and we have thousands of items, I need to individually check by location and make a decision on, you know, how it enters the stock range. and that's just one wholesaler. And I think there's about 7 that I will review their range and make my final orders. The one in particular we do a lot with, so they will be 80% of the stock lines sorted. They're the ones I start with first. And then when I start, once I got the order done, I then have a look at a product manual for the staff. Now, I use last year's and previous year's manual, and it just keeps evolving with me. And I use that as a bit of a check balance as well to say, okay, I've forgotten elf hats. Here's the pictures of last year's elf hats sitting in my document. And I'm like, I haven't ordered them because I've got my order sitting to one side. And here's 3 elf hats that I need to find. So then I go back to all of the spreadsheets for the wholesalers and have a look at all the elf hats and go, I like that one, I like that one, and I like that one. And then add them to the order. So, yeah, it's quite a job. And I'm trying to do probably what takes me 3 weeks to do properly. I'm trying to do it in a week. But I will get there. I will get there. I'm putting in some big hours. And I said Susanna called through the day for a quick chat. She had some news on her retreat and bookings that she's made and, And she goes, "What's your stitching?" And I said, "I'm not stitching nothing." And I showed her my laptop, the spreadsheets. I had paperwork everywhere. And I'm like, I'm not stitching. I've locked the door to my craft room. I am not going in there. I'm going to finish this and then I can go and craft. Look, I've just bring this up to the camera. So I'm pretty happy with the way that that's performed. It's actually performed better than I thought. It will be a little bit furry when I start changing direction as I cut around this, but I might make it a little bit bigger than coming in too tight. So it's more of a sweepy bend around everything and not so detailed with points. And that'll give it a little bit more strength. So let's unpick that. Yeah, so anyway, I did this big 12-hour day. It was 12 hours plus. And I was listening to podcasts. Because if I listen to YouTubers from our world, I start watching them. It's shocking. The girls will pull something out and go to do a stitch, and then suddenly I'm focused on that and I'm not concentrating on the job, and I tell you, it's trouble. So I thought I'm going to get some podcasts and listen to people just talking and just turn the volume down a little bit, and then I tend to focus in and I'm okay. It's just like having a bit of background noise. So yeah, went to bed feeling pretty exhausted. I had laptop eyes, where your eyes go square. I had laptop eyes. But this morning I got out of bed and I'm like, I can't do it. I've got to come in here and have a play. So I thought that scarf, I have to start working on it. Make some decisions. So I'm happy with the way it has performed. I'm now going to fussy cut this out loosely. Gosh, I hope I don't regret it. I think it'd be fine. I've got a base fabric, a real soft cotton, sort of like this linen. It might even be linen in the wash. So once I get all of these, do I do it? Yeah, we're doing it. It's just fabric, for goodness sakes, girl. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than the print. I'm going to try and be very gentle with it so that it's not disintegrating on me before I can get it down onto fabric and stitched. So, well, we're committed now. It's going to give me lots of scrap, beautiful fabric. So that may even join the project as well. Gosh, the things we do, I tell you. It'd be nice to have this sitting to the side of me too, because it just comes a time when you need a break. I'm trying to make my break actually go outside and throw the ball with Pepper and Bandit and, you know, walk away from my laptop. Otherwise, you get all stiff and sore and you stand up and suddenly your legs are like jello because you've been sitting all day. There we go. What do I go? I might just go straight. Where's my big scissors? Go straight through to the end. This would have been pretty on the denim jacket too. It was a consideration at one point, but I sort of felt like I needed to be a little bit more neutral. The other thing with this pink is I've also got to decide, is it too pink for me? Because when I turn it over, I do like the underside. It's a duller version of it. Maybe I do a bit of both. Stitch some way, some the other way. That could also be, you know, an opportunity as well to dull it down a little bit. I guess if this turns out just too thick, too embellished, and Corrine goes a little bit overboard, it's going to be a very long snippet roll. Okay, so plan B, it gets put on a bobbin, an antique bobbin, and becomes a snippet roll, and then I can just go for it. And I go, all right. So, yeah, all right, that's plan C. I'm getting a bit of cut out of these scissors because it's a nice, big, long sweep. Yeah, so if I get into, like, the project and go, oh guys, it's just, I don't know, it'll end up on a bobbin. It'll just be a snippet roll. Be pretty. It'll be a nice theme for a snippet roll. And I guess if I ever have that day where I feel like I need a scarf, I can walk into my craft room, pull off a snippet roll. Isn't that funny? I think that's funny. What did Rachel say in her Wednesday video the other week? Once I finish the cuff, I can just hang it up and admire it. I so get it. There'll be all these cuffs hanging up around the place. There's been some pretty ones pop up on the Facebook group. Oh, gosh. And even when you go looking at different cuffs on Pinterest, oh, there's some there that I probably would wear, but then I go, well, when? When am I going to wear it? Got a better chance of wearing a scarf. Having said that, it's not cold in Queensland. Like, seriously. And I'm moving, you know, to Burrum, which is even warmer. I'm getting closer to the equator, so goodness me, this is going to so end up being a snippet roll if I'm not careful. Don't encourage me because I'll chicken out. Let's just forget about the whole snippet roll idea. Let's get all these pretty little pieces sorted. I think my problem is I'm not a girly girl. How do I approach that? I'm going to separate it. Yeah, if I was a girly girl, I would probably be wearing all of these lovely soft scarves and things, but I'm not. Okay. So pretty. Got a selvage here, so that side will be nice and secure, won't it? Talk about giving myself hours of stitching. Nothing like another project, hey? Thank you too for all your kind comments with my seamstress piece and how it's been reinvented probably, what, 3 times now. And I finally feel settled on it. I really appreciate your encouragement. And it's been 50-50 on if you like it or you like the newer version. And then the newer version gets adapted again. And, you know, it's been really interesting to see all your comments. Okay. I could camphor stitch over the whole thing. Oh, decisions, aren't they? Just so much fun. Do you hear my sarcasm? All right. What else have we got here that we can nibble out? It's beautiful soft fabric. The piece that's in the laundry at the moment is very similar. So I feel like I haven't lost the integrity that this piece was. Okay, got some great little morsels there. Oh, hang on, there's a little bit there. I'll leave that V there. Oh, I had the freakiest thing happen yesterday. I went for my walk with the dogs down the back of the block just to stretch the legs. And I hear this crack. And there was a lot of movement in amongst a cluster of trees that are in one side of the block. And the dogs, like, no fear, they run straight down there, and I'm trying to call them back because obviously a limb had come away from one of the gum trees down there, and gum trees, as beautiful as they are, man, they can be widow makers, is a bit of a saying we have in Australia. Anyway, this thing, there's a vine that's near it that's growing up this cluster of trees, and it's nearly at the canopy. And every couple of years we cut it off and just let it die back, and a new vine comes. It's like a rainforest vine. It's an amazing plant, actually, and it's always a bit of a shame to, you know, trim it back. But it would literally become a new canopy. It sort of gets a base on it like that. It starts off with the tiniest little stem. It goes up all these trees, gets to the top, and then scoots across the top of them all. And we're talking trees that are 20 foot in the air. So eventually it'll just bring the tree down to the ground, and it becomes then compost and feeds this vine. So the vine's quite an intrusive sort of plant, and it just pops up everywhere. There must be well, there is. Yeah, there is. There's a flower that turns into a little seed. The birds eat the seed. They then drop the seeds as they fly around the place, or it's in their droppings. Therefore, the little vine pops up again. So I've got it in places where I'm just stunned that it's even there. Anyway, crash, bang, crack, rustle. And the dogs take off down there, and I'm like, come back, you know, Pepper Bandit, come back. Because I don't know, in my head, I had visions of a huge carpet snake actually falling to the ground. That's what I thought it was. But it wasn't. It was a limb that had come off of a tree. Not a big limb. Like, it probably wouldn't, well, it wouldn't kill you, Mind you, if it did stab you, it might, but it wouldn't kill you. It's probably only about that round. And that was at its thickest point, and then it got quite thin quite quickly. And it was quite, I dragged it back up to, we've got like a fire pit where we can sit around and have a fire in winter, and I use it to burn off excess timber that comes down out of all these trees. And where the limb must have met the tree, there must have been some damage because it was really black and sappy, as if it had been cracked. The tree had tried to heal itself, and then literally it's given way and has tumbled to the ground. But because this vine, so I've got vines on the vine, these roses here, because the vine had twisted around it, it probably just applied that bit extra pressure with growth, and the limb has given way and come crashing down. So the dogs are there within seconds. They're just standing on the grass edge of the garden bed of all these trees, and they're looking at it going, nah, it's nothing. Come running back. And yeah, I thought, oh, I better go and check. Can't help myself. And in my head, I'm still thinking it's a big old carpet snake or something. It's been up there trying to grab a possum or a goodness knows what, a bird. But it wasn't, it was this limb. So then we're dragging the limb out, and I'm going in amongst all of the undergrowth to get this limb. I've got no shoes on. Like, seriously, the girl, she just went out for a brief walk, was going to stay on the nice grass. But no, she's walking down stones and through scrubby bits and barefoot, thinking, where's my shoes? Put your shoes on, girl. But no, she didn't. So I get down there, I got my hand on this limb, and I'm dragging it out. Next minute, all hang breaks loose. There was a wasp nest. Oh my goodness. Dead set. I'm running, squealing. Wasps are stinging me. I think I copped 3 hits on the back of my shoulder. Gee, they're fast, those things. They're faster than me. The dogs are running around my feet if to go, oh, look at Mum. She's jumping and playing. We'll jump and play too. So I've got this limb plus a couple random sticks. I can feel my back getting hit with these wasps. Bandit's in front of me with his rope going, oh, Mum, you're so playful today. Yay. Pepper's like doing circles going, come on, Mum, let's run. Oh, I tell you. And I'm squealing, carrying on like a pork chop. Get up to the fire pit, realise I haven't got shoes on still, so I've jumped straight onto these stones that are all around the area of the fire pit. Oh, ow, is how it went. I mightn't take that edge off because maybe I put that to the side. I don't know. I don't know a lot, do I? So I've got a lot of elements. So I think this is certainly going to set the scene for my piece. So that's not bad. And if I don't need it all, I've got myself some nice little morsels too. I think I need to break that there. I'm going to be tempted otherwise just to leave it as one big piece. I'm going to break it. Do I break it? Oh, yep, I'm breaking it. Okay. It should be broken there too. That's it. We're breaking it right down now, aren't we? It's going to be just lots of little bits lying around the place. Oh, there we go. I'm happy with that. Well, I guess the next thing is to get the base, which of course is drying, well, soaking and drying. Let's get the elements that I think I want out of that tablecloth with the holes in it. I'm going to do that next. And then I've got a nice little pile of some bits. This one with all the little holes. I love that thick white work. gosh, she's seen a good life, hasn't she? Look how thin it is. Just used and used and used, and it's just disintegrated. You know, that one wash that just takes it out. Let's get it to the front. We'll go in here. I might use the big scissors first just to separate it out. Okay, this shouldn't take too long. So I guess in the next video I'll have my base. I'll then start piecing on all of the different elements, and then I guess I have to decide how blingy I go. Do I even bring in wedding lace? Do I keep it very so now I'm sort of playing with all these textures. I feel like I don't want to go blingy, but I must admit, when I sat down, we'll see. Sometimes bringing in a bit of bling just lifts a piece too, like it puts that sparkle in. But we'll see. I can't make any decisions yet until I see the piece evolve in front of my eyes. This U-Butte snippet roll that I'm making. That's a good one, that one there. Look at that. It's got a nice shape about it, hasn't it? Long and lineal. There's no way on hang I'm going to get this finished by the end of Feb. So this video of wearables series on scarf will no doubt roll into March, which is okay because March is going to be a bit tricky for me. I do have pre-recorded videos for most of my projects. So Botanical Beauties and Stitch the Season and the calendar Stitch Along, which is a rabbit. You're going to love him. I've finished filming him. Oh, my goodness, I love him, this bunny. And he's going on the side of a caddy based on the Japanese rice bag. I made a few of them over the years on YouTube. So I'm making another one featuring all of the animals. I've been saying this for a little while, so this is no new news. So I've got all those videos done, ready for you. I just don't know, because the girls will reveal their March prompt, and I will be on a plane within days of that reveal. So I'm not sure, depending on the prompt, if the prompt is something that can be quickly thrown together and can go with me, or I can stitch it really quickly in a couple days and then you guys have videos, I don't know. It's all going to depend on the prompt. So there might be the odd day in March where there's just no video, and it just means that I just ran out of time. I'm sure you guys will forgive me. And I have a couple days free through the retreat week that if I can, I'm not sure, if I can, I'll make a video of what we're all up to. So stay tuned. It could be a bit all over the place. See, I love that corner. I'm not going to cut that off. I'm just going to leave it there. Yeah, so March could be a little bit hit and miss. I'm trying my darndest to keep up enough videos for you guys. You have your, 6 a week. But we'll see. It's still only middle of February, like. Just feel like I've got a bit of work in front of me with... No, I'm going to cut that off. Do I cut it off? I'll leave it on there. I think once I get my orders done for work, and I know that that's squared away, I'll probably be fine, I do need to head to Barham for 2 weeks in amongst it all as well, because there's a lot of exciting things happening there. Probably by the time you guys watch this video, I will be at Barham. we're getting the patio roof is going in. The shed's up. I'll give you a video once I get there anyway, an update. The shed's up. Oh my goodness, it's a monster of a thing, for goodness sakes. What's with boys and their sheds? But it's up. Now there'll be a patio go in, concrete, and an overhang, like a roof, to connect the two together, the house and the shed, so that if you don't want to be in the shed listening to pinball machines banging away, you can be sitting out on the patio with me stitching in the cool breeze of a summer's afternoon. So that's exciting. And then the fence people are booked. They will fence the whole property. And then potentially with a bit of turf here and there, my puppies, my dogs can go up, and technically we will move in. We will be there. That's the only thing stopping us. We don't have fences. We can't do fences until the driveway is sorted down the side of the house. The patios are sorted on the other side of the house. The shed's built, tick. Fences go in. Pepper and Bandit can go in. But we sort of need a little bit of grass too, otherwise they'll be very dirty. Oh, the other thing I had to show you, I'll put a picture at the back. I'll get better pictures when it comes. I hope it shows up on the end of the video. Do you remember the patio I built at Christmas for everyone to stand on to keep them out of the mud? And it was 6 pallets, and we went to the hardware and got 3 sheets of timber and then screwed it all down, and it made a temporary, just sitting on the ground patio surface. And it was great because I put a couple camp chairs out there. Any guests that wanted a cigarette could sit outside. We'd go for a walk, get dirty, sandy, mucky, and they could rinse their feet, kept the hose out of the dirt. It was just so handy. We used it a lot. Well, Gaz is up there at the moment booking in all of these trades for the next couple of weeks. And he said there's a bunny underneath it. So remember the story where I told you the Jack, the big male hare, came in, and I reckon he did something naughty to my girls, because I got about 4 little rabbits running around, they're hares. And then this big lad comes in one morning and, does something in the bushes, and off he goes. And I'm watching him for kilometres scooting around, and I was told that they have kilometre areas that is like their harem, so to speak. Well, that happened in late November, early December. The gestation period is 28 to 32 days. So that brings it into early January. And we're now middle of February, and I have a hare that is underneath that patio. And Gaz said, he said, there's either 2 and one comes in and there's a second one, or it's one and he's coming in one way, out another. He's using, because the pallets didn't quite butt together to get maximum width, there's probably about a 30 centimetre gap between them all. So it's like a corridor. Pallets are about that tall. Then there's a little piece of timber on top. So he is in there using it as shelter. So whenever there's a noise or, something scares him, he's back in under the patio. So Gaz took 2 photos. They're not very good quality. One is looking through the shutters and you can just see him. And the other one is the edge of the patio. Actually, is my phone here? Yes, it is. Let me show you, because I think when I put it at the end of the video, it's actually not going to show up real well. So let me just go back through my photos, because I might actually be better off just doing it this way. Okay, photos, recent, bunny, where are you? Here he is. Okay, so I'll bring it up to the camera. See the shutters there? And there's the little guy just sitting outside our window. Now you'd think he's quite big, but the next photo, there's the patio we built. So there's blue pellets underneath that. And there is little Bunny coming out from underneath those pellets. So he's just tucking himself inside, and that's our door to go out. So Gaz was able to sort of sneak up behind him and catch the picture. Now, those pellets are only about 15 centimetres tall. So what's that in inches, guys? For those of you that 6 inches would be the most that patio is. Yeah, about 6 inches. So he's sneaking underneath. So we're going to have to relocate Bunny. Having said that, you know, there's no fence here, and they go out and they eat grass right around the whole block. So I'd only have to probably lift that a little bit. He'll shoot off into the bush where he needs to go and live with the rest of the bunnies, and not under a temporary patio. But boy, he's cute to watch in the meantime. Oh, he's filmed it live, so you get a little bit of movement on the photo. Oh, so I can't wait. So I will be back up at Burrum for a couple of weeks, watching the development of the project, and yeah, I'm going to be watching that bunny. So I'll try and get some good footage for you guys in the next video or so. So stay tuned on the bunny story. Okay, well, I feel like I've got some things, look, even that would work. Yeah, see, I've got to decide, do I want bling? Depends how blingy it is, I guess. Oh, don't know. Anyway, we've got a few things, not too much. I did thin it down a little bit. I still think this tablecloth has got potential. Whether it's getting too pink, who knows. So I'm going to put all that together, and yeah, I'll get the base, get it dried, the old pillow slip. I'll get that cut down into the width I want. That'll then form my substrate for all of the embellishing that happens after that. So very excited. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye and toddle off and start my day. You guys have a great day. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad you love the jacket. I love it. I can't believe it. And I'm so going to wear it. So tick. We'll see about the scarf. Might be a snippet roll. We'll see. All right, guys, look after yourselves. Bye.